But in reality, that right punch was all he had. He just runs in swinging, and if it doesn't land, he won't win. But the trainer tells him, your next match is really gonna be a humbling experience. And Oda's like, stop it. This is his debut match. It's gonna be an easy win. But trainer tells him that there's a rumor going around about his spectacular knockout at the pro certification exam. Hopefully, he's able to smack you into shape and get rid of that rotten spirit of yours. And turns out, if he loses this match, it's gonna be his last. The gym isn't gonna sponsor him anymore because he don't try hard enough. And finally, I got no intention of leaving my daughter with a bum like you. If you don't win this next match, you ain't never gonna see her again. And I'll make sure of that. So now he just looking dumb as they both leave him. We get a view of Ippo training, and he's going through some intense workouts. He's getting smacked in his stomach with some type of big ball. I don't even know, bro. But regardless of how much it hurt, he's like, do it again. You can see how serious he's taking this. Then we go back to Oda doing his quote unquote road work. Look at him, he looks sorry. His girl sees him and she's happy he's at least putting in some effort. But as soon as a truck goes by, he disappears. Turns out he cut road work in order to lay down on a park bench. He's skipping all the hard work, all the training. His girl's like, damn, maybe Pops was right. So fast forward, she's having some noodles with a friend when Ippo, Takamura, and Kimura pop up. Aoki's there working behind the counter, and they all sit down and talk about Ippo's upcoming match. Kimura and Aoki are basically talking Oda. They like, he gutless, he ain't got no stamina, and the whole time, his girl is right there listening. They don't even know. Ippo's giving him the benefit of the doubt though. He's like, but he's one rank above me. If one of his punches do land, it could really do some damage. But Kimura doubles down. He's like, a sporadic right punch is never gonna connect no matter how much he flail it around. His girl feels bad, but overall, I feel like she just embarrassed. Embarrassed that this is what he's known for. Aoki's like, you know what? If you're that worried about the fight, I'll go ahead and tell your fortune. So he pull out a deck of cards and Kimura's like, oh, there he goes. And Takamura's like, you know, he's never been wrong. So Aoki do what he gotta do and pulls the best card. He like, Ippo, it's your lucky day. You got extra luck on your card. But Kimura and Takamura are trying their hardest not to laugh. They can't do it. They start busting out in laughter. Both Ippo and Aoki like, what's so funny? When Ippo and Takamura are leaving the noodle place, he asks him like, why were y'all laughing? He said, I got the best card. And Takamura's like, it's true that he's never been wrong, but all of his fortunes actually predict the complete opposite. So you actually got the worst outcome. Ippo like, ain't no way, bruh. Now he's even more nervous to fight this man Oda. Speaking of Oda, Reiko, his girlfriend, meets him outside of the gym after he leaves. She's like, you're done already? It seems like everybody else in there is still going at it. And he like, you know me, my baby, I'm a natural. I don't gotta put in as much work as them. But she smacks his hand. She go ahead and ask him, are you really a bum like my father say? And so he grabbed her and turned her around, and she's on the verge of tears. She's like, you're making me lose faith in you. You always all talk. She go ahead and explain what happened earlier with his opponent's friends talking trash about him inside the noodle shop. She's like, I've been thinking about it for a while, but if you can't show some discipline and win your next match, I'm breaking up with you. So now he's sitting there looking goofy. But instead of just staying there and being a bum, he decides to go back inside and start putting in some work. He pull up to his trainer like, teach me at any cost, just teach me. I gotta win now. I don't care if it's by points. I don't care if it's by time. I don't care what it's by. I need to win by any means possible. So the trainer's like, all right, we'll start first thing in the morning. But Oda's like, nah, we gotta start now. He throws the mitts to him and Oda starts actually putting in some work. He got some passion behind him now. So then we get a big montage of Ippo putting in work, Oda putting in work, all leading up to the big fight. So at the weigh-in, they're both sizing each other up. Oda gives Ippo this death stare. From his point of view, he was the one that was talking about him and caused his girlfriend to break up with him. But Ippo don't think he got any reason to be upset. So he walk up to him trying to introduce himself, but Oda not going for none of that. Ippo's talking to Chief like he's nothing like y'all was saying. He don't look gutless at all. But nonetheless, they both got to get in the ring. So as Ippo's walking through the tunnel, he sees the stairs which leads up to the arena. He's feeling nervous as per usual, but Gramps said ain't no time for that. We gotta lock in. So they walk up the stairs and Ippo steps into the light. The crowd notices him and they start to cheer a little bit, but he can't get distracted. So he climbs into the ring, ready for his first match. The first match of the featherweight class is ready to begin. In the red corner, from Nishikawa Gym, weighing 124.5 pounds, Yusuke Oda. And Yusuke looks at the crowd, but then looks specifically at Reiko. In the blue corner, from Kamikawa Gym, weighing 124 pounds, Ippo Makunochi. Ippo go ahead and do his little polite thank yous to the crowd, and of course the gangs that are support him too. So Ippo's ready for his debut, and Oda knows he has everything on the line. If he loses now, he loses it all. So the bell rings and Oda starts out blazing. He pushes Ippo right into a corner swinging, but Ippo's able to dodge it. But then he connects his first right, which Ippo's able to block, but he's like, damn. That's tough. Oda keeps his foot on the gas. He continues with a combination of rights and lefts, and Ippo hasn't been able to do anything yet. After dodging for a little while, he's able to land a couple jabs with his left and throws his first right, which completely breaks Oda's guard. He had already heard about Ippo's punches, but not even he was expecting that type of power. So now they both rush towards each other, and Ippo takes a counter punch after missing his. So they exchange blows for a minute until the first round ends. So they're both getting hyped up in their respective corners. Basically, both of their coaches are telling them the one with the most grit is gonna win. So at the start of round 2, they're both exchanging blows back and forth. Ippo dodges one of Oda's hits and hits him with 2 body blows back to back. Even Miyata, who's watching from the crowd, is impressed with his infighting. He's able to push Oda back into a corner, and when he rushes him to try and do more damage, he gets counterpunched. But this time, Oda is staying in the corner. He's not advancing. They're about equal in the amount of punches they're landing, but Ippo's power is really starting to show. Oda's legs are starting to give up on him. So after a little breather, they go right back to exchanging punches. It's looking neck and neck, and everybody's in the crowd invested. Unk in the gang, Reiko, the trainer. Ippo really starts to show his edge when he hits Oda with a crazy punch in the stomach, getting his first knockdown. But Oda been locked in on his training, so we know that's not enough to keep him down. He's like, there's no way this gonna be my last time in the ring after everybody been calling me weak and gutless. Ippo realizes this is his chance to get a knockout. So when the round continues, he instantly rushes him, but he slips and Oda's punch barely grazes him. But then the ref stops the match. Turns out Ippo got a cut on his eye, and they need to call the doctor. With a bad enough injury like this, the doctor could call the match off and he'd lose by technical knockout. The doctor's like, fortunately, it didn't reach too deep, so you can go ahead and patch up the cut, but if it gets opened up again, we're gonna have to call the match. So the second round finishes and Gramps stops the bleeding for him. He tells him, I did my job as the cut man to stop the wound, but it's your job as the boxer to not open it up again. So go in and knock him out real quick. Oda's on his side like, now's my lucky chance. If I can just reopen up the cut, I'll win. Like he said earlier, he's trying to win by any means possible. So the third round starts and Oda gets straight to clinching. He's just spamming punches right there on Ippo's eye, trying to get that cut open so he can get the win. He held his block up the entire time, but when he put his glove down, it was bleeding. Just a little bit more and they'll call the match done. And Oda knows that. Just about every punch is aimed right towards that left eye. Since Ippo has to keep his guard up, he can't manage to get any hits off. So out of desperation, he decides to take a gamble. He shifts his right foot forward, inverting his stance, also known as southpaw style. He's ultimately doing this to put his injured eye further away from Oda, but instead of jabbing with his left like he's used to, he's gonna have to do it with his right. So he moved towards Oda, throwing his first jab. But even he's shocked at how trash these jabs are. Not only are they slow, but they're weak and they feel weird in general. So Oda realizes he don't got nothing to fear and starts going in. He's throwing punches on punches, even managing to slightly reopen the wound, launching blood on the floor. The trainer's like, hurry up and call the match. Ippo's just sitting there, blocking for his life while Oda's just continuing to send endless punches. Ippo's trying to think why he can't jab with his right like he does with his left. He's like, I started out jabbing. But then he remembers how he struggled to throw jabs back before he even knew what jabs were. But then he finally realizes what he's doing wrong. But at the same time, Oda finally connects a punch on that left eye. The ref starts to move up, ready to call off the match, but Ippo loosens his grip on his fist and is able to intercept one of Oda's punches with a jab on his right. So he hits him with another one, and he just lets off a ton of jabs right to Oda's face. He finally knocks him off balance after like 20 jabs, and that's when Gramps tells him to use a left straight, but when he throws it, the ref stops the match. Both Ippo and Gramps are like, no way. And Oda's trainer starts to get happy, but it was too late. At the beginning of the round, Oda's legs were already starting to give up on him, and turns out that barrage of jabs from Ippo was enough to knock him out. So the ref checks to see if he's still conscious, but Oda's gone. So the ref calls it. My man Ippo won his first pro boxing match. So my man's Ippo is thinking back to his debut match versus Oda, the match where he ended up winning by knockout. He showed up to school the next day and we get to see his class react to him being all bandaged up. He was going in thinking that they was going to be shocked and that his crush was going to be super impressed with him. You feel me? He a boxer, woo woo woo. He's trying to anticipate all of the attention that he's going to be getting. So when his class does see him, they are actually all shocked and surprised. They ask him questions about him being a boxer, but they're only interested for a little bit and he ends up still lonely later that same day. But he reminds himself he didn't take up boxing in order to be popular, so it don't really shake him up too much. At lunch, he go up to the rooftop to eat, and that's when the brown shirts pull up and start getting on his ass. Ippo's like, so did y'all need some? But boss man talking about, you say I can't speak to you unless it's important? So they all stand around him and start mean mugging. King Doodle clearly got something to say, but he's choking up. His man's just like, come on bro, we talked about this, go ahead and say it. So bro's like, I heard from one of your classmates that you won your little debut match or whatever. So Ippo go ahead and tell him the story about the fight, and they all instantly doubting him. They're like, oh, your opponent must have been weak. You must have just got lucky, because ain't no way you really like that. So Ippo asks them, do y'all like boxing? And they all respond saying that boxers are the pinnacle of manlyhood, saying that all delinquents idolize boxers. Then Ippo asks, so y'all idolize me? And bro grabs him by his collar and is like, don't push your luck. But his man's telling him, chill, bruh, chill. So the boss man go ahead and ask him, so when's your next fight? Ippo tells him it's gonna be at Korakuen Hall in a month. So they all walk off trying to act like they ain't really care. When they leave the rooftop, they start running around. Turns out they all wanted to be friends with him, but they so used to bullying him, they just couldn't act normal around him. So back at the gym, Fuji pulls up on Ippo training with coach. Turns out Gramps got him doing this peekaboo style, which is where he bites the thumbs of his gloves in order to get used to keeping his guard up, since his guard during his debut match was pretty loose. This method was made famous by my mans Mike Tyson and his trainer, so Gramps got him locked in. He goes ahead and gives Ippo a tape of his rival's most recent fight, Miyata, in which he got his third consecutive knockout, making his record 3-0. The next day, Gramps pulls up to the gym, telling him that his opponent for his second match had been selected. Takamura looking at his name and his record, and he like, dude, shouldn't be a problem. But Gramps is like, you still gotta tee up, cause winning this one means you gonna get better seating in the Rookie King tournament, so you can't afford to slack off. We don't even get to see him training too much. It goes ahead and fast forward to the day of the fight at Korakuen Hall. And as we look inside, guess who's in there to watch the fight? King Didi, boy, King Doodle shirt and his boys. They go to the stands and still can't believe that Ippo's really about to go out and box. They all thinking inside their heads, no way he's stronger than us, right? And that's when Ippo steps out. So Ippo do his little polite bows and they're laughing at it, but when his opponent pops out, one of the brown shirts gets nervous. His opponent is some super buff, grown ass man with no eyebrows. They like, damn, this dude look tough. They're all like, ain't no way Ippo's really gonna be able to fight, bro. But nonetheless, my man's Ippo locks in. His opponent's trainer tells him that based off of his debut match, Ippo's guard is real weak, so aim for that. As the first round starts, they sizing each other up. Ippo's keeping his guard strong. The other dude throwing jabs, but can't break through. Ippo ends up dodging, and that's when my man thought Ippo was about to drop his guard, but when he punches, it don't do a damn thing. Ippo's like, shit, that was close, but this peekaboo style is really working. So he sent a punch, breaking straight through his guard. Ippo starts comboing the shit out of him, looking like Miyata in their very first spar. Bro with no eyebrows can't take the punches, so he blocks the ref's view standing in front of him and goes for a headbutt, completely throwing Ippo off, sending him straight to the floor. Even the doodle shirts in the stands is calling them dirty for doing something like that. Yagi on the sidelines like, ref, keep your eyes open. But the ref ain't see nothing, so Ippo gets back up and keeps going. He goes right back to the offensive, and Buddy realized he's not gonna win by fighting fair. He's completely outclassed. So he blocks the ref's view once again and hits my boy with another headbutt and starts punching on Ippo. The ref breaks it up because he's seen it this time and he's like, bro, watch your head. And he like, my bad, bro. He's just so low to the ground with the way he's doing. So Ippo thinking to himself like, damn, he doing this on accident? I guess I am lower when I do the peekaboo style, but out the back, he sees him smiling and he's like, nah, now I gotta fuck him up. So there in the stands, the doodle shirts is rooting for Ippo to win. They get back to fighting and they trade in blows, Ippo straight overpowering them. But he triples down on the headbutts, going for a third one. But once it hits, Ippo didn't end up taking no damage because he was able to brace for it since he knew it was coming. He just met him halfway. He responds with an uppercut, but bro kinda blocks it, like not really, but he kinda does. So Ippo goes for another one, socking him right in the chin, sending bro straight to the ground. You know he's out for the count. Ippo ends up winning his second match, improving his record to 2-0 with a fat ass bump on his forehead to show for it. Next day at school, Ippo's getting ready to go home or go to the gym, wherever, when King Doodle Shirt calls him over. So Ippo ends up following him around this corner to see nothing but a whole bunch of thugs straight mean mugging him. He tries to run, but bro drags him back. Turns out, my dog was telling all his friends about Ippo's fight last night, and now him and Ippo are boys. Ippo thinking to himself like, we friends, what? But he's just glad somebody's excited to watch his fights, so he go along with it. So the next time we see Ippo is at the ramen shop. He's celebrating his 1-year anniversary at Kamogawa Boxing Gym. Now that it's been a year, the Rookie King tournament is officially here, but Ippo still hasn't found out his first opponent. Turns out, he's hella nervous to see who it is. Back at the gym, Ippo's getting some training in and he's just going crazy. He got all this pent up energy and he's taking it all out on Aoki. And right before Kimura's about to tag in, Yagi comes out talking about they got the official bracket for the tournament. Both Miyata and Mashiba, the scary dude from the certification exam, are seated on the left side of the bracket, so they're gonna have to eliminate each other before Ippo gets to face off against either one of them. But that also means in order to face off against Miyata, who he promised to meet inside of the tournament, he has to get to the very top of the bracket, beating everybody in his path. Ippo squeezes through and sees his first opponent, Jason Azuma. They're talking about his ring name, Jason, saying it makes you think of some gruesome image. So they start talking about Ippo needs a ring name, since his name, Makunochi, quote unquote, lacks punch. Takamura's like, nephew, I got just the one. Big Mother Ippo. Aoki and Kimura in the background gassing him up like, damn, that shit hard. Ippo's like, it do sound kinda cool. I know what big means, but what does mother mean? Ain't showing what he talking about, and Ippo just walks off, going back to do his training. But that's when Fuji pulls up with a little more info on Jason. Turns out it's not a ring name. He's actually American, a soldier, matter of fact, stationed in Japan. Fuji tells him he's a quote-unquote puncher boxer, and he's 3-0, all with knockouts. But that's all the info they got on him. Fuji says he's getting more info from a branch outside the city, but all he knows is that Jason's strong. Coach is like, since we don't got info on him, instead of adjusting to his style, you gotta refine your own. On the flip side, we get to see Jason sparring. First thing we see, he throws a hook and knocks bro with headgear right to the ground. But when he sees him bleeding, he actually gets real concerned. Turns out my man's Jason is actually a real kind guy. He thanks bro for helping him practice, and his trainers is happy that he's in such good shape. His trainer tells him to get ready to head up to Tokyo tonight, since that's where the Rookie King tournament is gonna start, and he's like, alright boss, I'll get ready. Jason's training at an extremely rural gym, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. He's an overall kind soul with good determination and a lot of talent. In the back room, we see the wife of the trainer, who he calls Mama, fixing the sandbags that he be messing up from his training. He's like, you shouldn't be fixing these, this requires a lot of strength, let me do it. But she's like, nah, this is my job. You gotta protect your hands since they get hurt so much working with needles. He doesn't fight her back on it, but he promises that he's gonna make it out the mud and provide for everybody there. She tell him, don't ever say no dumb shit like that. He should always fight for himself and for himself only. But he's like, nah, I want to fight for my family. So everybody ends up sending him off. He's real close with this group we got here. He's thanking his training partners for helping fine-tune his skills, but they're like, we not even good enough to fine-tune your skills at this point. We know you wasn't even using half of your strength when training with us. Mama walks up and gives him a little bit of bread as spending money since everything is more expensive in Tokyo, but he's like, nah, I don't need it. I got money myself. But she insists. So he makes his way over to Tokyo for the match. Back at KBG, Ippo's training extra hard because he knows that Jason's gonna be tough. After all of the strongest boxers are from the US. He gets slightly nervous for a second, but instantly quits the negative thinking, locking back into his training. Aoki and Kimura are impressed with his tenacity and his spirit. These two actual NPCs are looking at him train and are impressed. That's when they talk to Oda, the star rookie of the gym, saying that he's lucky that him and Jason are on different sides of the bracket. That's when Oda pride takes a hit, so he tells Jason to go ahead and hop in the ring. Jason's like, are you sure? We both in the same tournament. What if we end up fighting each other? And Oda's like, come on, boy, it'll be fine. So Jason puts on his headgear and he's like, Oda, what about yours? But Oda like, nah, I don't need that shit, and instantly starts punching on Jason. Jason stays hard on the defense. He's like, please, just put on your headgear so we can actually fight. But Oda rocks him in the face and he almost falls back. Little dudes on the side talk about, damn, I guess he's not as strong as we thought. And Oda starts trash talking on top of that too. Like, you fragile as hell. Why everybody gassing you up? Jason thinks about his family back home and stands up. Oda should have known it was done by his eyes. Bro ain't got no pupils no more. That's an instant death sentence. But Oda continues talking shit. He's like, I can't believe you had the nerve to tell me to put on headgear. Jason only said one word, bet. Oda throws this weak ass punch and he instantly dodges that mud with ease. He punched Oda once, sending him right to the edge of the ring. Then his hook sent him straight to the floor as Jason just looks on. Turns out we see Yagi and Gramps talking about that specific incident, and Oda was hospitalized and had to be withdrawn from the tournament, all off of one hook from Jason. Coach is like, a hook is exactly what's going to counter Ippo since he likes to fight in close range. So he steps out and calls Ippo to grab his gloves and hop in the ring. So Ippo's like, all right, but as he walks up to the ring, he sees Takamura's already in there. He like, excuse me, but Grants told me to hop in the ring, so could you move? Takamura like, nephew, ain't you in luck? I'ma be your training partner. That's when Ippo starts freaking out, because Takamura is 7 weight classes higher than Ippo. Grants is like, I know you're not complaining. Ippo's like, so he steps into the ring as Takamura is warming up. Gramps breaks down his game plan just like this. The goal of this training is for you to dodge Takamura's hook, as Takamura just punches the fuck out of Ippo, laying him out. Like, this shit kind of fun. Gramps is like, bro, don't punch him in the middle of my explanation. And Ippo get up like, damn, if I wasn't wearing headgear, I would have been dead. And Gramps is like, that means you would have just died to Ozuma's punch. And everybody's shocked. They're like, Takamura's got way more power than him. You saying that Ozuma got the same power and speed as Takamura? But Gramps doubles down. He's saying that Jason might be even faster. faster than Takamura if he being honest. But if he misses his hook, he'll temporarily be vulnerable, and that's when you strike. If you can slip through Takamura's punches, then you got your opportunity to win right there. Ippo's like, I gotta dodge those? I only got 10 days into the match. Gramps is like, if you can't dodge them, then your first Rookie King tournament match is gonna be your last. So Ippo's like, all right then, let's lock in. After day one, Ippo's face is all beat up. He wasn't able to duck underneath any of Takamura's punches. But that's when on his way home, he sees some bars at a playground and starts using them as practice, making use of what he got to try and better his situation. But at first, he can't get it down. As time passes and rolls on to the next day, Ippo gets to the gym and Takamura's already there warming up. He like, nephew, I wasn't fully warmed up yesterday, so I took the liberty of showing up early and getting right so you could have the best of the best practice. After that day, Ippo's face is even more messed up. He practices on the bars again, but gets distracted by old girl, who we really ain't even get to meet yet. I don't think they've had any real interactions. But he locked back in, realizing that he can't get distracted if he wants to win this upcoming match. Next day, he's back training with Takamura, when instead of throwing a hook, he hits him with an uppercut instead. Ippo like, what the hell? Takamura tell him in order to prepare for the unexpected timing of hooks, he's gonna throw in all types of punches. You know I got you, nephew. So we see Ippo practicing more on the bars, and he's making better progress, but he's not fully there yet. Next day, he's taking even more punches from Takamura and ends up getting knocked out. Since Ippo was out, was whooping on Aoki and Kimura, so he ain't lose his rhythm. So Ippo's like, my bad, y'all. I'm gonna get back in the ring. So they get back to boxing. We also get a montage of Jason training, thinking about his family at the gym back home as he trains around Tokyo. Apparently, he never had a family in the States. So when he was stationed here, the gym took him in and he was able to grow close to him, building relationships that he never had before. We see Ippo at the park again, and this time, it looks like he's dodged all of the bars. But the last one barely grazed his head, and he's like, I gotta dodge all of them if I want to win this fight. Next day at the gym, Ippo's doing the normal training, but when throws a punch, he manages to duck underneath it. Gramps is like, ain't no way. Even Takamura is shocked. Look at him. Aoki and Kimura ready for Ippo to get his get back, since Takamura's been whooping on them too. As Ippo charges his uppercut, elbows him right in the face, sending my man straight to the ground. Gramps is like, he really did it, just in the nick of time. So now it's time for the Rookie King tournament. Ippo and Jason are weighing in, and they both meet the weight requirements. When Gramps takes a look at Jason, he's like, damn, he even looks strong, and also extremely springy. Jason's coach dap up Gramps, saying, let's have a good fight. As Jason walks up to Ippo, he towers over him while he's grabbing something out of his bag. Ippo look up and is instantly scared, but Jason hits him with a kind introduction. He tell Ippo what's up and that he heard that he was strong and wants to have a good fight. He tell him he gonna try his best. Ippo tries responding in his broken English, even though Jason came up to him talking in Japanese, and Gramps and Yagi are getting secondhand embarrassment. As they're walking back, Ippo's happy that Jason's a gentleman and is honestly surprised, since all of his old opponents had tried to intimidate him before the fight. Later that night, we see Ippo successfully dodge the bars while running through, and we see his game plan is to try and get underneath the hooks and respond with an uppercut to the chest. So fast forward to the night of the fight, we see Jason warming up and talking with his coach. Coach talking about it's probably gonna be a free-for-all since Ippo's the end fighter. We see Ippo warming up, and Gramps tries to catch him off guard right quick, but Ippo's on his P's and Q's. He's not going for that. We see Jason's homies talking, we see the doodle shirts talking, they all pulled up, ready to watch the fight. Jason walks out, and his mans is showing love. Now, he's even more confident that he's gonna win because his boys is here. Remember, he doing this all for his family. Ippo walks out, and the doodle shirts are kinda nervous that he gotta fight Jason, but the Kamogawa gang is there, and they notice he's locked in, like he was born ready for this. After introductions, they each go to their respective corners, and Ippo's first fight of the Rookie King tournament finally begins. Nah, I'm playing. Imagine I ended it there. That'd be crazy. So they sizing each other up, and Ippo's thinking he got to make the first move so he can get control of the pace. But when he rushes in, Jason does the exact same thing. They was on the same wavelength. So Ippo decides to just keep attacking until something opens up. Jason's feeling the power of Ippo's jabs, and he's thinking, damn, these jabs is crazy heavy. That's when Ippo throws a straight right, fully breaking his guard. He continues with a punch to the face, and it connects. But Ippo gets greedy, going for another big swing, and Jason's able to dodge it. When he responds with his patented hook, Ippo's training kicks in, and he cleanly slides under it. Everybody's in shock, like ain't no way. So Ippo counters with the uppercut, but then Jason dodges it, following into a hook that was dodged, then another uppercut, which once again was dodged. They throwing punches back and forth, but none of them are connected yet. Ippo starts to get stuck on the defense, realizing that his hooks are getting faster and faster as he's having less and less time to get a punch in. Jason throws not one, not two, but 3 hooks, and the third one finally connects, knocking Ippo to the ground. Ippo's about to get back up, but coach is yelling to him, don't get impatient. Wait a little bit into the timer so you can rest for a few more seconds. So Ippo tries his best to calm down, and when the ref gets up to 8, he stands back up, saying he ready to fight. But Jason knew that punch had to have done some damage, and there's still 30 seconds on the clock. He's not trying to let Ippo run away. Ippo realizes that Jason's getting ready to rush him and knows he can't get knocked down again or else it's a TKO, and he's not trying to go out bad like that. As the first round starts back up, that's exactly what happens. Jason rushes him and lands a punch, then another one, and a final hook that sends him flying. It looks like he about to fall, but he's able to grab onto the ropes, barely standing back up on his 2 legs. Jason can't help but give him props on his mental strength. After taking all these punches, he's still able to keep standing and keep pushing. As Jason goes for another punch, Ippo desperately threw a counter punch, and both of them connected. Aoki in the stands surprised that the punch actually went through, but Takamura's like both of the punches were shallow, not doing any damage at all. But what it did do was strike a mental blow to Jason. Jason's thinking to himself like, damn, Ippo already took 3 of my best hits and he's still standing like nothing happened. When Ippo's thinking in his head, I can't take another hit, please don't rush me. Jason slowly walks towards him, but before he notices, the bell goes off and the first round is done for. And of course, the crowd's going crazy after a round like that. During the break, Grants points out to Ippo how afraid his resilience made Jason. He gotta realize how crazy tough his punches are. Coach tell him in order to win, he gotta up his confidence and take a couple more risks. You can't be a boxer without taking a risk. So he tells Ippo, regardless of how many hits you take, how much it hurt, you gotta tell yourself that you don't feel any pain and you're gonna be able to get through it. So the second round starts and Jason's straight on the offensive, but Ippo dodges, retaliating with an uppercut, but Jason dodges, exactly like the first round. Jason goes for the hook when Ippo's vulnerable, and Ippo realizes he can't dodge and he can't take another full hit. So he throws another counter punch out of desperation, and they trade hits once again. They both lock back in after taking a hit and trade for a third time. Jason's surprised that Ippo's still standing on his 2 legs, but he don't know that Ippo's legs are about to give out. He keeps telling himself that he don't feel a thing, and he manages to push forward. Aoki and them is saying it's a death wish for Ippo, but Takamura's like this may be the best strategy to put Ippo in advantage since Jason has better speed and technique. They realize this fight's not going to end by points nor decision. It's whichever fighter is the last man standing. As Ippo and Jason keep trading punches, folks in the crowd can't figure out who's winning and who's losing. As Ippo's there trying his best to just stay standing, we notice that Jason's legs are starting to wobble a little bit. He's taking a lot of damage from these counter punches. He's thinking that if they keep trading punches, he's going to be out first. But then he locks back in like, what am I thinking? I done got way more clean hits on him. I should have the advantage. So he rushes Ippo and lands a hit, but Ippo keeps fighting back. Jason's astonished that he can't knock Ippo down. As he keeps on punching on Ippo, bro is showing no signs of slowing down. He starts thinking that his punches aren't actually doing any damage. He's like, ain't no way, this nigga gotta be immortal. It gets to a point where they're both visibly gassed. Jason's trainer tells him to keep rushing, so that's exactly what he does. He manages to get a hit on Ippo, then another, and finally a third, knocking him down to the ground. He's in his corner tired than a mug. He's like, finally, bruh. After all that, I finally got his ass. Ippo's laid out on the floor, seeing stars. He see this goofy ass version of Coach yelling at him, and then he finally realizes that that's actually Coach. He's like, damn, I got knocked out, and looks up at Jason, who's looking down at him, but has a crazy look on his face. He look hella anxious. Ippo's wondering why he's even got that expression. Clearly, he's in the advantage here, but that's when he puts two and two together, realizing that he's also in just as much pain as Ippo is. So all Ippo gotta do is get up and it'll strike fear into his heart. Ippo starts giving it his all trying to get up. The crowd and Jason are like, no way he gets up, there's zero chance. But all of his mans is cheering him on. While the ref counts down, Ippo manages to get up at 8, shaking, barely able to stand. Jason's distraught at this point, as Ippo says that he can continue fighting. Ippo's like, as long as I can stand up, I could keep on going. The round continues and Ippo starts walking him down, but he could barely even see straight. Jason's hyping himself up like, why am I being scared? All I gotta do is knock him down one more time and it's my win. He rushes towards Ippo fast and throws a hook. Then Ippo dodges and Jason realizes that he overswung. So Ippo charges up and retaliates with an uppercut straight to the body. He tries to follow up with the hook, but he misses and Jason just falls straight to the ground from the uppercut. Ippo goes back into his corner and Jason's just there laying on the ground. He not looking too hot. His mans and his trainer are all surprised at Ippo's power this deep into the fight, but Ippo knows he not in the best shape himself. He's praying that Jason don't get back up, but at that same time, Jason thinks back to his family, thinks about his reason why he's even fighting in the first place, and he hears his mans cheering for him in the crowd. He muster up all of his strength to get back standing. As he stands there, I know Ippo in his mind like, ain't no way he got back up. But since he's up, Ippo gotta lock back in, cause Jason's coming for his head. They're both on their last leg at this point as the round continues. Remember, it's a 2 knockdown fight, so the next one to hit the floor loses. Both of them know that. They throw some punches back and forth, but nothing too crazy connects. They playing it close for a minute with dodges, blocks, punches, dodges, blocks. Neither one is able to get a leg up on the other. As each punch is thrown, the crowd's going crazy. They're both damaged, but they're both still going strong. First, Ippo takes a hit. Coach realizes that he's at his limit. Then he takes another one, getting pushed back to the ropes. Jason starts unleashing a barrage on him, and Ippo can't do nothing about it. He lands a straight hit right to Ippo's face, and even Takamura in the crowd is like, fuck, this the end. Jason can tell that Ippo's at his limit, so he goes for his patented right hook to end it all. As he throws the hook, it's perfectly on target. From Ippo's POV, he sees this right coming straight to his dome, but last second, he sees an image of Takamura from all the training right before the hook connects. Ippo's instincts kick in, dodging the hook by just a hair. Ippo looks up, charges his uppercut right into Jason's body. Jason don't know what just hit him. He follows up not once, not twice, not even 3 times, but with 4 hits, finally knocking him back and straight to the floor. A crazy way to end off his first match of the Rookie King tournament. This episode starts off with Ippo linking up with Aunt in order to watch Miyata's tournament match in person. This is Ippo's first time watching Miyata in person ever since he left Kamigawa Boxing Gym. So as they walk in to go get some seats, the people in the lobby are all looking and talking about him. They're like, oh, that's Takamura. He's going for the championship, ain't he? Ippo's thinking to himself like, damn, my aunt really like that. Ippo look over to the side and he sees these 2 girls talk about him like, oh, look at him over there too. And he's like, shit, I guess I am a pro boxer now. I ought to have a couple fans here and there. So Ippo and Aunt take their seats and all of a sudden a ticket falls past Ippo's face. As he goes to pick it up and looks to see who it is his crush. Same girl that be on the bicycle, same girl from his class. He always runs into her, but they never end up talking to each other. She like, oh, thanks for picking up my ticket. And he just there, speechless. He don't know what to say. She's looking around to see where her seat is at, and Unc notices that Ippo been staring. He get up close behind him and blows in his ear, and he's like, oh, this your type, ain't it? And Ippo's all embarrassed. He's like, no. As they going back and forth, she interrupts him like, hey, do you know where seat C18 is? Ippo's like, let me see. As he looks to look underneath his own seat to see where they're at, we see that Ippo's zipper has been down this entire time. She leans over to look at the seat and sees through his pants right then and there. So he freak out, she freaks out, and Unc just eating this shit up. But turns out her seat is right next to his. Unc like, that was a nice little trick you did to try and impress her. I know you trying to deny it, but that was a real risky approach. You a real man, ain't you? Ippo shake it off like, damn, I wonder if my zipper's been down this whole time. And then he thinks back to in the lobby, Them girls wasn't his fans. They was looking at his pants the whole time. As he's sitting there thinking about it, she flips through her hair and he gets a whiff of her fragrance, whatever she got on, and he do this little shit with his nostrils. He getting hella distracted. Getting back in focus, like how long you gonna be daydreaming, bruh? The fight about to start. Miata walks out and he's got hella fans. Everybody's like, the kid genius, go crazy. Ippo's thinking like, damn, he's got hella fans. He thinks about old girl right next to him like, I wonder if she a fan of him. Shit, she might be. As they announce him in his corner, Ippo and both notice his body looks crazy different. He's really been locked back into his training. As they announce his opponent, Takamura calls out that he has the same fighting style as Ippo, so make sure he watches closely. As the fight starts, Miata's not using his footwork like he normally does. His opponent gets mad like, oh, he's underestimated me. He think he don't gotta use his fancy footwork to beat me. I'm about to prove him wrong. So as they're fighting in close together, he's swinging. Miata's dodging each and every one of them. He shoves his shoulder into Miata like, you can't dodge when I'm right here, but Miata pushes him off and then shoves his shoulder into the opponent, basically declaring that he wants to trade punches back and forth. Everybody's shocked because they know this is not Miata's style. That's not what he normally does. As bro is just throwing punches on Miata, Ippo's thinking to himself, like, why is he taking all these punches? He could easily dodge these with his great footwork. But Miata starts trading punches back and forth with him. He's boxing like an in-fighter instead of an out-fighter like he normally is. As his opponent is getting more and more mad, Miata's just taking each punch like it's nothing. He's luring him in closer and closer, and when he finally goes for a big swing, Miata hits him with a quick counter, straight knocking him to the ground, ending the fight in that single punch. Ippo's like, both his speed and his power has improved since last time. Ippo asks like, why did he do that? Why did he fight like he was an in-fighter? And like, probably to show he's not a one-trick pony, because he knew Ippo was in the crowd watching. He want to make a statement that he could deal with in-fighters now, and it's not going to be a problem. As they take bro out on a stretcher, old girl stands up and is like, why? Out of everything, why does he choose to box? Ippo's thinking like, damn, Miata won though, so I guess she's not his fan? He's still confused on where she stands, but she just walks away. Over here talking about the fight a little more, giving a little bit more analysis, but Ippo's doing that thing with his nostrils again, smelling her walk away, and he get on his ass for it. So we go back to Kamigawa, and we see Ippo training hard. Aoki and Kimura over here tripping because the AC is out, but Yagi's like, man, how y'all junior gonna outdo you? So like, all right, bet, let's get to work. They start sparring with Ippo, tagging in and out, giving them pointers as he goes. On the sideline, completely demotivated because they just can't seem to find a venue for his fight. After the three of them finish up their training, Fuji comes in with the updated bracket. They're looking to see who Ippo's next opponent is going to be, and Aoki's like, he's supposed to fight some guy named Yoshida. He's a third seed, and back when he was an amateur, he already had a good track record, so I'm sure he gonna win. But Fuji's like, nah, there was an upset. The third seed is actually out of the tournament because of this unheard of boxer named Kobashi. So Fuji pulls up a tape of his last fight. As they're watching, they're like, this dude Kobashi looks trash. Basically throughout the whole fight, he's throwing a bunch of jabs, which don't look very strong. They don't look like they're doing nothing really. And he's clinching when he doesn't even really need to. So everybody watching the fight is like, damn, this shit boring as By the end of the fight, they're surprised there was no knockout, no climax. It was super boring. He won by points. So Aoki and Kimura are all unimpressed. They about to go, but then they hear this dude's fight coming next. They don't know who he is, but he's got a bunch of fans and it's all making them hot. They like, how you a rookie and got all these fans? That ain't how this works. Turns out this is the 4th seeded boxer, Hayami. This dude Hayami is super boastful, right? He's waving to the crowd. He's doing all this. He got all these fans. He a fan favorite. And Aoki and Kimura hate this man for it. As his fight starts, they're running for his opponent the entire time. But Hayama is able to dodge, and eventually hits him with this rush of punches. He throwing so many, it looks like he's sending them all at the same time. Fuji's like, how many punches do you think he got in? Ippo's like, shit, I don't know, you tell me. It's like 27. 27 punches before the rest was able to stop it. He's got an incredible rush of punches, deemed the shotgun. They're talking about him after the match, like he probably surpasses Miyata in speed, reflexes, and overall talent. Ippo's like, damn, stronger than Miyata? And he just walks off. They're like, did we show him too much? But Gramps is like, nah, if he wants to really fight Miyata, he's got to be ready to take this dude down as well. Ippo's thinking about the shotgun on his way home. He noticed this new bakery spot that just opened up, and he's like, shit, I'm kind of hungry, so let me go in. As he goes in, he's like, damn, all these are leftovers, but the girl at the counter is like, oh, the freshly baked ones are all down here. Turns out it's old girl once again. They've been running into each other all the time now. Ippo turns around like, no way she remembers me. He on some low confidence shit. I don't know how after doing all this boxing, all this training, but shit, I guess it ain't the fix for everything, right? So he picks out his stuff and she rings it up and he gets startled and nervous trying to pay and drops his money all on the ground. So she's like, oh my God, let me help you up. She goes to help him up. So he turns around, it's like, nah, you don't gotta help. You don't gotta help. But as he turns around, he's right in her skirt, bruh. That shit is crazy. She ends up giving him the money that he dropped, and as he's walking out, he's like, damn, I guess she didn't remember me. But as soon as he's about to leave, she's like, oh, take this. A free gift on the house. She's like, if they're good, then please come back and visit again. And he's like, shit, okay. And walks out feeling good as hell. He's like, she already came to one boxing match, so she might be able to come to another, and that might be my match. He walk home feeling great. When Ippo comes in the next day, he's training extra hard. Kimura's like, bro, you don't gotta train this hard. If you work out too much, it's gonna have a reverse effect. You gotta take breaks and let your muscles breathe. He's like, oh, all right, bet. Walks up like, what's wrong with him? And he's like, I don't know. He just keeps doing this weird thing. Looks at him and sees the little nostril flare that he's doing. And he's like, I know that nose. When he got his nose puffed up like that, that means he getting a little excited about a woman. Aoki and Kimura like, about a woman? That's why you been so fired up recently, ain't it? And Aoki's like, this what it's about, really? Ippo's like, nah, that's not it. I promise. Knowing damn well he lying, but he's like, I promise. Kimura like, you can't survive in this world if you indulging yourself in women. And Aoki's like, that's right. Only the people who grinding when everybody else is having fun are the ones that's gonna succeed. They going off like, yeah, boxing ain't easy, it ain't sweet, you can't be doing all this. Looking at him with disgust in the background. Like, y'all too jealous, ain't you? And Aoki falls. He know damn well he jealous. The only thing he want is to be surrounded by some girls. He want his own cheering squad. He want his own fans. He start acting up crazy. As Kimura and Ippo go back to the locker room, Ippo's like, what the f was that? Unk's like, don't worry about it too much. But listen, when it comes to anything about women, you can't take what Aoki says seriously. You can't listen to him. Ippo's like, really? Why not? They open his locker. He's got hella pictures of quote unquote cute girls in his locker. And I guess you could tell by Ippo's face, he got some interesting taste, to say the least. That night when he gets home, his mom is already on the phone. And she's like, oh, Ippo? He just got back right now. She tells him it's a call from Takamura. So Ippo picks up the phone like, what's good? And he's screaming through the phone. He like, it's time. My title match has finally been decided. Ippo's like, oh shit, let's go. Takamura says they gonna have a training camp out in Izu. Gramps can't come, but Aoki and Kimura are coming. You coming too. Ippo's like, damn, it's on such short notice. I gotta help my moms. But his moms pop out the cut like, hey, it's okay with me. So he's like, all right, bet, I'll be there. Ippo's getting ready for a serious and focused training camp, and we cut to Takamura crib. They blowing up dolphins. They got beach clothes on. They all on complete different timing. So the next time we see Ippo, he's leaving for camp. He say bye to his moms, and he's running to the train station completely locked in. He basically doing road work on his way there, and old girl sees him and is like, boxing, huh? But we don't get to see too much about her. She remaining real mysterious. When they're all on the train, they all hyped up about the ocean. They excited to be going out here. First place they go, to the beach. They seeing all types of women here, and it's looking like we know they true intentions with this quote unquote training camp. Whole time, Ippo's in the background carrying all the luggage. He fall down because he carrying everybody's stuff and they getting mad at him, but he's the only one carrying shit for 4 people. They like, hey, that's just how it gotta be. The rookies gotta carry the luggage. It's tradition. Kimura like, it ain't gonna be too bad though. We almost there. And he looks over at the locker rooms. Ippo's like, the locker rooms? I thought we was going to the training camp facility. Like, nephew, we about to go change. Before we do any training, we about to go swimming. They get in the locker room, they all on board, as expected. Ippo looks inside the bag and it's a bunch of random stuff. He's like, this is why this shit was so heavy. Y'all was on bullshit. He's worried about getting this training done, but Kimura's like, well, we can't train in this hot sun. Imagine if we get heat stroke. We gotta play just as hard as we train. Ippo's like, all right, I don't want to be a buzzkill. It's not like I don't want to have fun. I was just worried about the training. They like, Ippo, go ahead and get dressed. We'll meet you out there. As they're walking out, gets nervous. Like, he not about to wear a Speedo, is he? Aoki and Kimura didn't even imagine that was gonna be possible. They have visions of what it'd look like, and Ippo steps out. Turn around, and he got regular pants on. So they had a fun at the beach, looking at girls, burying people in the sand. Ippo's thinking to himself, this really the first time he's ever went to the beach with friends, so he's just enjoying the moment. Ippo falls asleep and ends up having a dream about Hayami. Coach is yelling at him, like, why you ain't got your head in the game? Focus. And he instantly gets hit with the shotgun, getting sent back. He turns back around, and Miyata's looking at him the whole time, walking away. He's stressed about losing his chance to fight against Miyata, and when he wakes up, everybody's gone. He's like, damn, while I'm here having fun, my enemies are all getting stronger. That's when kicks him on the back of the head. He's like, nephew, you ain't think we was gonna play the whole time, did you? Go get changed. We about to start training. First thing they do is running in the sand, and Ippo is getting completely dusty. He like, running in the sand is completely different than normal. He didn't expect it to be this crazy. As the 3 seniors is running, they stop to check out a couple girls. Ippo's in the back struggling the entire time. He's like, why are they so much faster than me right now? When we run at home, it's never this crazy. It's like, how do they have so much energy still? Then he puts 2 and 2 together. Each time they was running, they had somebody to chase after. They was running after these girls. They like, shit, as long as we got a goal, we gonna keep running. And Ippo's getting dusted more and more. After they finish their running, they finally go up to the training center. They're like, oh, this shit pretty nice. It might even be better than Kamigawa. Shit, let's get started. Ippo's like, they did all that running, did all that playing all day, and they still gonna do more? Calling the shots. First off, 5 rounds of shadow boxing. Ippo like, 5 rounds? But they all lock in and get started. After the first round, Ippo's gassed, but they all still good. He's really realizing how much more impressive they are than him. When they finally finish up the day, Ippo's about to go to sleep, but he's like, what, you think you're about to sleep before us? And he ties him up inside of a mattress. Like, how long y'all gonna be playing? This not a trip to play no games. As he's wobbling around trying to get free from this mattress, sees the opportunity and hits this man with a suplex. I'd be sick if I was Ippo, bruh. The next day, we see Kimura in the ring with Ippo. Kimura like, Ippo, I could tell you stressed to fight Hayami, so I'ma help you train. I'ma dodge like I'm him, and you just try and hit me. So Ippo's over here trying to land a punch, and he's not landing nothing. Like, damn, he really have a problem with outboxers. He can't seem to catch up. After the first round, not a single punch had connected. He swears he's gonna get him in the next round, but calls it off. Like, you were never gonna hit him at this rate. Ippo's like, yeah, if I fall right now, I would lose, but if I work hard, I might have a... like, no way. And you know why? Because you got a crucial flaw in your game. Ippo's like, a crucial flaw?